When you have a process plan in pdfToolbox, one of the really cool things that you can do is use information from a previous step in a process plan. And let me show you a little bit how that works, and then it's up to your creativity to see how you can use that in real use cases. I have a process plan here that was designed to search for page numbers in a document. And so what it does is it has a check, and that check uses find text on page, and that looks for the sentence, page, and then a number. And it uses a regular expression for that. And so the Preflight results return whenever it found that text on a page. And of course, naturally, if I do that, I then want to reuse it somewhere else in the process plan. Well, it turns out that pdfToolbox allows you to reuse that information or do something with that information, but it has to be in the next step in the process plan, and you need to use a little bit of JavaScript. So let me show you. The second step of this process plan is a little script, and I will zoom in to show you. And what that does is it looks at an object called app.doc. App is the application, pdfToolbox. Doc is the current document, .result. And result is the area in which pdfToolbox stores any results of a given process plan step. So if you run a check, or you run a fix-up, or you run a complete profile or process plan, the results that come out of there are stored in app.doc.result. And yes, I just know that by heart now, but you can actually go into the JavaScript objects dialog box, and in there, when I go to result, you have all of the things that you can look at. So doc.result is the result storage area, and in there you find the different things that pdfToolbox can put in there. The one that you probably are the most interested in is the checks area, and that is where the results of any pre-flight checks that were done in the previous step are stored. So I can look at checks.length to know how many checks actually produced a result. I can look at an individual check and then look at its hits. Remember that hits for a check are objects identified by that check. I can look at one of these objects and then look at their bounding box or the page on which they happened, or I can look at the triggers, which typically give additional information about them, and so on. So there is a lot of information that you can get back from pdfToolbox about this previous step that was run. And you can also test that. You can see that I get an error here. The reason I get the error is because the evaluation results for app.doc.result are not available right now. There was no pre-flight check that was run because I'm just writing a script. I'm not really executing this process plan. Luckily, I can cheat and I can use this little control here and say, please run the process plan up to this particular step, so that there is information in app.doc.result. And you see that as soon as I do that, the error has disappeared because now the information is available. And I will not go into all of the details, but for example, this is information about one of the trigger values of the check that I happen to have used in this example process plan. So remember that you can run part of a process plan while you are writing a script to make your life easier. And then you can also use console.log or console.info and maybe you use stringify and nicely format the output, but you can use that to look at any of these pieces of information, not just the triggers that I have. I could just as easily say, show me everything that is in this check. And then when I look at the log that I have here, the console log, I have all of the information that pdfToolbox gives me for this check. And this would now help me to understand what the structure is and to extract exactly the information that I need in this step of my process plan.